Welcome, students, to another asynchronous assignment. I am Mrs. LerDon Barr, and I will be your presenter for today's lesson. Congratulations on making it this far. We are on the final leg of the expository essay race. In today's lesson, you will be learning all about the concluding paragraph. The objectives for today's lesson are as follows. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to 1. Explain the function of a concluding paragraph. 2. Employ the 3 steps for writing a conclusion. And 3. Compose an effective concluding paragraph of your own. Are you ready? Let's go. What is a conclusion, you may ask? Well, it is the final paragraph of your essay, which restates your thesis, summarizes your main points, and it helps your readers to see why your essay should matter to them. Like I said before, it is the final leg of the race. The race is not won unless your conclusion is completed. Are you ready to learn how to finish strong? Let's go. Don't be alarmed. I am going to teach you how to write a concluding paragraph. In order to write an effective concluding paragraph, all you need to do is to follow these 3 easy steps. 1. Restate your thesis in a new way. 2. Summarize your main points. And 3. End by leaving a lasting impression on your reader. We will now go through each one of these steps so that you can have a clear understanding as to what to do. Step 1. Stay on track. The first thing you ought to do is to restate your thesis. To do this, you begin with an appropriate transitional word or phrase first, followed by the restatement of your thesis that you would have used earlier in your introduction. Remember, your thesis was your contract with the reader. You are to paraphrase this thesis statement in a new way so that your writing would be lively and engaging. Here are some examples of transitional words and phrases that you can use to end your essay. Do not go with the cliche in conclusion. Try some of these other fresh examples instead. In summary, to summarize, to conclude, all things considered, ultimately, in short, to sum up, or in essence. These are great alternatives to the boring in conclusion that we usually use. If you are still unclear about how to restate your thesis, here is an example. At the end of your introduction, this may be your thesis statement. To keep a job, you should always be punctual, industrious, and show initiative. To restate your thesis in the conclusion, however, you may write something like this. Ultimately, being on time, along with hard work and showing initiative, are all key factors that can help with job security. Notice with the second example, I had the same ideas. However, I rearranged and reworded it in a new and fresh way. Can you guess the topic from those thesis statements? If you guess ways to keep a good job, then you are correct. Step 2. Stay with me, students. We are nearing the finish line. The second thing that you should do in your conclusion is summarize your main points. That means that you should be brief and restate all of the main points that you would have discussed in the body of your essay. But remember, don't be repetitive. Restate your points in a new and fresh way. Here is a quick example of steps 1 and 2 combined. Ultimately, being on time, along with hard work and showing initiative, are all key factors that can help with job security. Punctuality shows dedication to the job and the ability to be a strong team player. Hard work displays a commitment to the success of the business. Finally, showing initiative helps one to stand out from the other employees. In the first part of this introduction, I began with the transitional word ultimately, and then I restated my thesis. Next, I gave a short summary of each of the 3 points that I explained in my body paragraphs. The finish line is just ahead, students. Let's keep going. Like they say, keep calm and write on. The final step in the concluding paragraph is to make an impression on your reader. You may do this in one of several ways. The first way that you may want to try is to state a wish. Here is an example. I wish everyone could use the power of cooperation. Together is the only way to make a difference. Another way that you may want to make an impression on your reader is by leaving them thinking by asking a rhetorical question. Here is an example. Think of a world where everyone works together. It will make a huge difference. Are you ready to make a difference? You may also want to try and use the without statement. Here is an example. Without cooperation, the world would fall apart. Let's make sure we stay together. Another way that you may leave an impression on the reader is by using a comparison. Here is an example. People need cooperation like they need air. Let's remember, together is better. The last way that you may want to leave an impression on your reader is through a lesson learned. Here is an example. I learned that cooperation is the only way to win in sports. I'm beginning to realize it is also the only way to win in life. Students, you can use any one of these examples to leave a lasting impression on your reader. Now, let's put all three steps together to create a concluding paragraph. Listen as I read this one that I have prepared for you. Ultimately, being on time, along with hard work and showing initiative, are all key factors that can help with job security. Punctuality shows dedication to the job and the ability to be a strong team player. Hard work displays a commitment to the success of the business. Finally, showing initiative helps one to stand out among the other employees. Without these essential attributes, one's value on the job would be greatly diminished. Thus, you should do your best to remain an asset and not a liability. Notice, students, I began with a transitional word and I restated my thesis. Then, step two, I briefly gave a summary of my main points, followed by step three. I used the without statement to leave a lasting impression on my reader. Let's review the three steps one more time. In order to have an effective concluding paragraph, you should restate your thesis in a new way, summarize your main points, and end by leaving a lasting impression on your reader. Easy peasy, right? Once you would have followed these three simple steps, hooray! Your concluding paragraph is done.